back to where we're at here, right? So we're driving through the University Village, right, of USC. I think the biggest the relationship between South Central and USC is hella complicated, right? USC was built as a commuter school way back in the day, right? There was an agreement USC had made that they wouldn't build student housing west of Vermont and east of Figueroa, right? That was the original agreement USC had with our community, right? Obviously, that's not what's happened, right? USC's campus has grown tremendously, right? And they're looking to house students, right? Because they have a lot of students from out of state coming to the university, right? And so what's resulted is in the increase of student housing. So all this housing that surround the community of USC, even though they may be designated as single family or multifamily, they're all catered to student housing, right? Yes. You know, they rent by the room at a really high rate, and it's a year-to-year contract, right? There's honestly little to none community of generational residents here in this neighborhood. Not too much, right? You got to start getting to like Normandy when you start seeing that more often, right? I think that's an important conversation to have about this. The original gentrifier in South Central was USC, right? And it's no coincidence why you'll see at USC them accessing stuff like micromobility, right? You see the scooters here, you see the bike share here, right? You'll see the car share here, right? Technically, they say it's in South Central, but it's not really South Central, right? South Central, honestly, I mean, and this is my personal opinion, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, South Central really starts from King Boulevard south, right? The way development has occurred around SC at least, right? And I think that's an important piece of the conversation as well, right? Because, the services that we fight for, they need to come to our part of the community. That's what a program like STEP is all about, right? Bringing those programs where we're at, right? So people in our community can benefit from them and not visitors, right? Like, all of students are part of a community, but they're visitors, right? They outro in 4 years, right? And they ain't staying to live in South Central, right? Like they outro, they go back to word, you know what I mean? So I think it's something that we wanted to important discussion to have when driving through our community, right? This conversation about gentrification, right? Because it's not only residents that get the space, but it's also small businesses, right? I don't know if folks are familiar. A lot of us who grew up here, right? The University Village used to be a community hub for us, right? Where we can go food, we can go to the movies, we can go to right? But that place got converted to something completely different, right? Right? And it's a symbol of this change of who they're catering the development to, right? We're passing up right now on a site that's also, for me, a major symbol of this fight for land, right? Ultimately, gentrification is a fight for land, right? Land use. We're passing up on the land plot where the old Audubon Library used to land. It's down the street right here. And that's been a big fight for the community in terms of what kind of development goes there. USC and the private development wants to build a massive student, like a dormitory there, right? The land is publicly owned, and so people, this vacant lot right here we're passing. So the library was lost, right? And then there's been a fight about what to do with this land, right? That's lasted 20 years now, y'all. 20 years, right? And so, USC wants it for student housing, community wants it for affordable housing, or something apart, or something better that's useful for community, right? And so it's literally a symbol of that fight, right? There's how many vacant lots around in our neighborhood. How valuable is land in the city of Los Angeles, right? So these are all pieces that we want to discuss. If y'all look on the corner back there, you can see this gray and light gray building. That's another example of a victory. Trust South LA redeveloped that place. That's called Rolling Curtis Gardens. The owner of that place was trying to displace all those folks living in there. A lot of them were Section 8 housing, folks living in Section 8.